Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome back to the Formulated Millionaire. Before we get into today's content, I want to extend a massive thank you to everyone who supports our work by watching our videos all the way through. And if you haven't yet, please smash that subscribe button. Your simple action provides the fuel we need to keep creating these captivating and inspiring stories just for you. What we're witnessing is a monumental, seismic event for anyone holding either XRP or Ethereum. The crypto landscape is experiencing a colossal movement, setting the stage for what could be the single most significant liquidity shift we've seen in a decade. Ethereum is currently soaking up all the attention, and when that happens, history shows us the rest of the altcoin market, especially XRP, doesn't just trail behind, it absolutely erupts. In this video, I'm going to show you why this exact moment is so crucial and how the current surge in ETH could directly trigger the most explosive XRP rally yet. Just a quick reminder, this is not financial advice. Right now, a torrent of capital is flooding into Ethereum. And if you've navigated these waters for any amount of time, you know what's on the horizon. The giants, the whales and institutions, they ride this wave until ETH hits their predetermined target. Then, they instantly redeploy that massive capital into the next asset poised to move. That's when we see sheer pandemonium ripple across the entire altcoin space. This is precisely why I'm bringing you this video today, because the signals are blaring, indicating we are on the cusp, the very edge, of that critical tipping point. But before we dive deep into what market guru Tom Lee just unveiled about Ethereum's path and its profound implications for XRP's next move, I have something absolutely game-changing I need you to see. In the pinned comment below, you can access the Ultimate Millionaire Investor Guide, your blueprint to finding 100x stocks. This is a fully loaded vault of resources, including documents, visual guides, video tutorials, and step-by-step insights designed to help you uncover the kind of investments that can transform your life entirely. It's crafted to be so invaluable that it would be insane to pass it up. And while you're there, be sure to claim your free NVDA stock, valued up to $1,000, with a deposit of just $100 using my Moomoo link. It's a complete no-brainer to get into position right now while the opportunity is still here. Now, back to Ethereum. Just last week, ETH shattered the $4,000 barrier. As I'm recording this, it's hovering around $4,200. This didn't just meet, it completely annihilated the $4,000 price target Tom Lee had forecasted earlier this year. And while Ethereum's run has been breathtaking, XRP has been patiently consolidating, pulling back just enough to build the perfect foundation for its own next surge. This is not a sign of weakness. It's a textbook, healthy correction, the calm before the storm, just as momentum prepares to rebuild. Tom Lee's insight here is absolutely captivating. He pointed out that in the short term, ETH's true fair value doesn't dictate its price. Instead, it's driven by targeted liquidation levels, traders running pair trades, and short-term bets against ETH, which only fuels more incredible volatility. But here's the most important point. Lee believes ETH is experiencing its Bitcoin 2017 moment right now, with Wall Street finally throwing its full weight behind it. So why does this matter so much for XRP? Because this is the exact same setup we witnessed before, back in December. ETH hits a critical new high, institutional capital begins to take profits, and the next wave of liquidity inevitably flows into other top-tier altcoins. And XRP is standing right at the front of that line. If ETH finds its top, likely within the next 30 days, there is a very real possibility of a tsunami of capital surging into XRP. This isn't just hopeful thinking. This exact pattern has played out before. And when the switch flips, it happens with blinding speed. When the tide turns, the liquidity doesn't trickle. It floods. We saw it in previous cycles, and the current situation is eerily identical. But the story doesn't end with ETH's price action. Tom Lee went on to highlight the massive strategic importance of staking and treasury management within Ethereum's ecosystem. He drew a fascinating parallel, comparing ETH's accumulation rates to what MicroStrategy accomplished with Bitcoin. In just 5 years, MicroStrategy acquired 3.2% of BTC's circulating supply. Now, imagine a financial powerhouse like Bitmain doing the same thing for ETH, but at 12 times that blistering pace. That is precisely what is happening. And it's all occurring under a fully compliant framework that Wall Street absolutely adores. Why? Because Wall Street craves its exposure to ETH in a way that is legally bulletproof, fully transparent, and completely in sync with US regulations. And as Lee emphasized, ETH is not just another crypto. It's positioned to become the fundamental backbone for tokenizing real-world assets, from money markets to stocks. That's why the institutions are swarming it. But here's the crucial turning point. Ethereum's technology is good, but it is not the pinnacle. It isn't the most efficient. It's not the cheapest to transact on, and it is certainly not the fastest. Technologies like XRP's ledger offer unparalleled efficiency, near-instant settlement times, and incredibly low fees. For true mass adoption, these aren't just perks. They are non-negotiable requirements. Right now, Ethereum is the shiny new toy for Wall Street. They are piling in because it's the most recognizable name, the safe bet, in the crypto world. But markets are in constant evolution. Once the hype evaporates and real performance metrics are compared side by side, capital begins to seek out superior technology. XRP's unrivaled transaction speed, cost efficiency, and scalability make it the logical next destination when institutions begin to reallocate their holdings. And here's the ultimate punchline. This reallocation could be dramatically accelerated by a single, seismic event, the approval of XRP spot ETFs. With September looking like a potential launch month for these ETFs, we could see an initial flood of retail investors, creating a surge in demand that institutions simply cannot ignore. That's when the snowball effect kicks into high gear. Liquidity multiplies, price action skyrockets, and the cycle feeds itself. Ethereum will always have its place, but it's not the final destination blockchain. It's the current staging area. And while Wall Street is busy setting up shop there, the truly smart money will be watching the assets that are actually capable of supporting a global financial system in real time. Assets like XRP. What's unfolding now isn't random chaos. It's the same market psychology that has played out countless times before. Liquidity concentrates, reaches its peak, and then rotates. And when that rotation happens this time, XRP won't just be catching some spillover. It is primed to be the primary target. Lee also stressed that ETH treasury companies are essential infrastructure, not just passive investments. These entities are earning staking yields while simultaneously providing structural support for the network. But even that doesn't change the indisputable fact that XRP's ledger is far better suited for certain high-volume, low-cost global transactions that ETH simply cannot match with efficiency. And when institutions start doing that math, they will demand exposure, not in years from now, but immediately. This is precisely why the next 30 days are so absolutely critical. With every day ETH climbs, we get closer to that rotation point. And when it hits, the capital shift could be one of the fastest and most brutal we have ever witnessed in crypto history. I could keep going even deeper into Tom Lee's insights, but the core takeaway is this: ETH's dominance right now is meticulously building XRP's launchpad. We have seen this happen before, and all the critical pieces are aligning for it to happen again, only this time, the scale is larger, the players are more powerful, and the stakes are infinitely higher. Now, here's where things get really fascinating for XRP holders. Tom Lee's framing of Ethereum as the compliant, Wall Street-friendly blockchain is a perfect description for the current moment, but the institutions loading up on ETH today are not doing so blindly. These are the same firms that aggressively rebalanced their portfolios after Bitcoin's major runs in the past, and they will do it again here. When they have squeezed every last drop of upside from Ethereum, they will pivot at warp speed to the next highest quality asset with the greatest asymmetric upside potential. That's when XRP will finally take its place in the spotlight. Think about what that truly means. Wall Street liquidity, hedge fund capital, and sovereign wealth money moving in en masse. These players don't just dip their toes in. They enter with positions that move entire markets. And when you combine that kind of capital with the unmatched efficiency of the XRP ledger, it creates the perfect storm for explosive price action. We saw glimpses of this in December, exactly as Tom Lee reminded us. ETH topped out, cooled off, and suddenly XRP was ripping higher as liquidity poured over. This time, the entire cycle is turbocharged. We have more ETF access, more compliant infrastructure, more public awareness, and a much larger base of crypto investors ready to jump in. And let's not forget, the approval of an XRP spot ETF could serve as the catalyst that ignites this entire fuse. Once retail investors see that ticker available in their brokerage accounts, the inflows won't wait for headlines. They will start immediately. Institutions will see that massive volume, interpret it as surging demand, and that will only accelerate their own entry. That is how a tiny snowball transforms into a full-blown avalanche. While Ethereum will continue to have its staking yields and tokenization plays, it will be incredibly difficult for ETH to maintain its outperformance once capital starts searching for the single most efficient settlement layer on the planet. That is exactly where XRP shines. You don't have to spend time convincing people about the technology when it's already settling transactions in seconds that other blockchains take minutes or even hours to complete. Tom Lee also pointed out that ETH treasury operations are more than just holding coins, they are actively building financial infrastructure. That is certainly true, but XRP has the distinct advantage of being purpose-built for high-speed, low-cost transfers on a global scale. The ledger's design isn't trying to be everything to everyone. It is trying to be the absolute best at one thing: frictionless value transfer. And in a multi-trillion-dollar global payments market, that kind of hyper-specialization is exactly what wins. And when you factor in that capital markets are ravenous for yield, XRP gains a further edge. While ETH staking yields are undeniably attractive today, they can and will compress over time as more ETH is staked. Meanwhile, institutional use cases for XRP, from cross-border settlements to liquidity provisioning, can generate consistent, yield-like revenue streams in ways that ETH simply cannot replicate without complex Layer 2 solutions. We are talking about a world where XRP ETFs launch in parallel with increased institutional infrastructure, all while Ethereum's rally slows. That combination is the perfect setup for a rotation. And you can be sure the largest market makers and funds are already meticulously mapping it all out. The harsh reality is this: these monumental moves happen with breakneck speed. By the time the average investor finally sees the rotation happening, the bulk of the gains are often already long gone. That is why preparing now is the only key. Speaking of preparation, if you have not already scrolled down and claimed the Ultimate Millionaire Investor Guide and Blueprint to Finding 100x Stocks in the pinned comment, do it right now. This is a fully loaded package: documents, images, and videos, all packed with strategies and insights to help you uncover life-changing investment opportunities. This isn't fluff. It is engineered to give you concrete tools you can apply immediately. And while you're there, be sure to lock in your free NVDA stock, valued up to $1,000, from a $100 deposit using my Moomoo link. That's free equity in one of the hottest companies on the market, just for getting into position. Now, back to the market setup. We also have to acknowledge the insane speed at which market sentiment can change. The old cycles took months for capital to slowly migrate from one major asset to another. In today's hyperconnected market, with on-chain analytics, real-time social sentiment tracking, and 24/7 global trading, that migration can happen in days or even hours. This is why the phrase, "a switch will be flipped," resonates so powerfully with XRP holders. When the narrative changes, it will not be a slow drip. It will be an immediate pivot, and the players who move first will capture the largest gains. What Tom Lee might not have directly said, but is implied in his every word, is that the race for dominance on compliant blockchains is just beginning. Ethereum might have the early lead, but it is not immune to competitive displacement. The history of markets, from tech to finance, proves that early leaders often give way to better, more efficient technology, and XRP's core fundamentals are exactly what's required for that next giant leap forward. The liquidity corridors Ripple has been building, its deep integrations with global financial institutions, and the unrivaled scalability of the ledger are all perfectly positioned to capitalize on that incoming wave of capital once ETH's run slows down. We are looking at a setup where Ethereum tops out, liquidity floods into XRP, ETFs open the door for mass retail entry, and institutional demand locks in for the long haul. This is not some wild fantasy scenario. It is the very same cycle we've witnessed in different forms across countless markets, now amplified by the speed and transparency of the crypto world. The bottom line is this: the window to position yourself before this massive rotation begins is shrinking with every single day ETH climbs higher. Every percentage point ETH gains brings us one step closer to the pivot. And when that pivot happens, XRP is likely to be one of the biggest and most explosive beneficiaries. And the moment that shift begins,